Dear investors, markets have tumbled on higher inflation expectations and increase in bond yields. Let us start by an analysis of commodity price trends, and later on we will see how the markets have reacted to the same. Over the past period, we have seen a sharp increase in prices of several industrial commodities. Iron and steel, copper are trading at decadal highs. Aluminium and zinc have also moved up and are trading higher than long period averages. Oil, a very important commodity from Indian context, it is the largest component of what we import, has again seen an uptick in the prices. This is more on account of production cuts than any surge in demand, but that is how it is. With the increase in oil prices, the logistic costs have also moved up. It's not only the industrial commodities, but agri commodities also are trading mostly higher than long period averages. Now, this uptick in the commodity prices have brought in the prospects of inflation. While in many cases the reason for higher commodity prices is disruptions on the supply side rather than any demand uptick. The world is still fighting COVID-19, and the overall demand scenario is lower than usual as yet. Now, while this kind of price increases have happened, inflationary pressures have emerged. Maybe they are at the beginning levels, and this has resulted in a sharp uptick in bond yields. We have to admit that they were lower than sustainable levels for some time. So some bit of that uptick should be taken as reversion to normalcy. However, going forward, global growth rates are expected to accelerate. The world is expected to have a great growth here in this calendar year over last calendar year as vaccination progresses and COVID is tamed. Supply of commodities has to keep pace. Else we could see further price increases and hence inflation. So the higher bond yields and tighter monetary policy, if not immediately over the medium term, should be seen as a high probability event. Increase in bond yields has punctured the equity rally as borrowing costs went up when currencies became volatile. Borrowing costs for traders went up when currencies became volatile. We witnessed similar phenomenon happening in a large part of 2008 to 2014 period for most commodities. The globe was coming out of Lehman crisis and was seeing strong infusion of liquidity into the system. Some of this liquidity, of course, spilled over to the financial assets and even physical assets. So while the underlying cause may have been different in the two periods, the weapon to fight the issue was the same, which is liquidity injection. And hence, a lot of the consequences may again be similar. Let us see how the market performed in periods of high yields. In a period of September 8 to 2014, while inflation did move up, except for a period of October 9 to December 11, 2 years and 2 months kind of a period, when repo rates moved up by 3.5%. So it's been a consistent increase in repo rates. In that period, the index returns were negative. Other periods of small increases, small reductions over this journey of 2008 to 2014 actually saw index delivering pretty strong returns. October 09 to December 11, saw interest rates move up while the economic growth was slower than usual, and that further complicated matters. and could have been the other reason for weaker market performance. In the interest rate increase period, asset-light businesses, for example, consumers, IT, pharmaceuticals, and even autos did well. Free cash flow generators did well. However, these spaces did well in other periods also, and what our key takeaway from this has been is that if the market performance is a slave of earnings, and if the earning performance keeps coming in, market continues to reward such spaces, and some of these spaces did deliver very, very consistent earnings. Actually, when these sectors also, which are seen to be very consistent, did not do well, we also saw the market take a step back in these sectors. Higher interest rates are less of an issue in asset-light businesses, that is evident. However, for autos, higher interest rate does increase the overall cost of ownership. The buyers mostly borrow on loans, and we have seen autos generally perform better in periods of lower interest rates. In short, the big takeaway is that following earning momentum has proved to be more rewarding versus following interest rates. Like I said before, in periods when interest rates move up gradually, the economy has been stronger, or interest rates were declining, typically markets have been able to deliver good, nice, positive returns. Commodities, surprisingly, while the companies may be making a lot of money because the prices are up, but the stocks start to underperform from a point that the market believes the policy will start to bite, and the underlying commodity prices may not sustain. In summary, over a period of time, Indian interest rates have been falling. They did take a step back, but the overall direction is that of a decline. We do believe we will continue to see that. We are growing in stature as an economy. We are now the fifth largest economy globally. Our currency ratings are what they are and could improve going forward. The depreciation of the currency that we have seen over long periods has reduced over a period of time, and so has inflation. So all the factors that go into deciding interest rates are favorably poised for continued long period decline, while of course it can't be a single direction decline. There will be step backs in the journey. Second, sectors which have a promising outlook do tend to deliver strong returns over the period when interest rates may move up. So earnings outlook is important. Strength in the strength and trend of business momentum is important. While some sectors have been more consistent, it is because earnings have been delivered in more consistent manner in these spaces. And of course, consistent performers also fall out of favor when earnings trajectory gets impacted. This has been seen in pharmaceuticals and autos. The idea hence should be to focus on businesses that one is holding and the valuation and growth prospects that are being presented. Indian CAGR economic growth is of an order higher than most parts of the world, and hence good high quality growth becomes the primary driver of returns versus any other factor to my mind. Coming down in the end to the market outlook, market has corrected over the last phase in March as global bond yields have risen, as have Indian bond yields. Since growth outlook is strong, we do expect the correction to be a temporary setback, and buying on dips should be a great investment strategy in a period India Inc. Is poised to deliver strong YOY earnings performance in quarter 4, of 21, quarter 1 of 22, and probably even quarter 2 of financial 22. The economic growth is expected to be strong. All indicators, prove to things improving even while COVID cases are moving up. IMF is talking of a 12% plus real growth rate, and top of it, put in a 5% inflation expectation, so 17% growth in the economy. While bond yields may have risen on valuations, the earning yields to a bond yield indicator still looks to be in a very, very sustainable territory. Price to earning ratios have declined, and versus earlier when we were just about expecting double digit returns over a period of a year, with the decline, maybe the return expectations have moved up as well. Policy rates, by the way, could take time to rise, and liquidity could stay good for longer. As per the pronouncements of the central bankers, and that's a further tailwind that investors will have on their side. So we would conclude by saying, this is a good opportunity. Dips should be bought into in the high quality space. Thank you and happy investing.